There has been this ongoing problem for a very long time now, not just in the last year or two, regarding these quote-unquote cheap fake games, these games that are absolute clones of other games, that are absolutely meant to deceive the average consumer into thinking that it is the official product, hence deceiving these consumers into buying this product, all for it to just be nothing. I guarantee you, if you think back long enough, you've probably ran into this at some point on a digital store, whether it be an app store or a game, Xbox store or PlayStation or Nintendo. I feel like I have seen these quite a bit, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you, it actually bothers me a lot. Like, I know there's a lot in this life to get mad about, and clones of games might seem, a little over the top, as far as something to get mad about. But it's like, there are a lot of things in video games that people can agree or disagree on in terms of it being shady or unethical. In the world of video games, there's like loot boxes, for example, or pay-to-win DLC. People can kind of argue over whether that stuff should be allowed or not, or more importantly, what the overall intent behind it is. But these clone cheap fake games are a completely different story. They are just a complete ripoff. There's nothing good behind them. They are just terrible. And I really feel some deja vu because just actually last month I talked about this in a video, and this was regarding the Nintendo eShop. Yeah, so there's a game called Unpacking that came out in 2021. It really got a pretty big following. It's by an indie developer named Witchbeam, and yeah, a month ago, one of the developers, Ren Breyer, went on to social media to basically talk about these cheap fake clones of Unpacking. And she kind of talked about a lot of frustration, I don't blame her, regarding these games not getting taken down from the Nintendo store. It looked like it had been about 2 weeks at the time, and like Nintendo had done nothing about it. Now, I am actually looking in that same thread right now, and it does look like she later posted that Nintendo did actually take care of it. So that's definitely good. And, with that, there was never a lawsuit that was ever involved with that, to my knowledge anyway. It was just kind of more of a post on social media that was meant to be a call to action, and it did work. But in this case, this is a little bit different. So just this week, it was reported by Torrent Freak that the indie developer Mob Entertainment is actually going through the same thing. Now, this is also an indie developer, and this is also regarding a popular 2021 game. Now, this game is called Poppy Playtime. Now, I've never played it. I've seen a lot of YouTube thumbnails regarding this game. It definitely gives me like, Five Nights at Freddy's vibes. It's like a cute animal mascot, but it's got like a horror atmosphere. It does look kind of cool, actually. And so Mob Entertainment is not doing a call to action here on social media. They are actually going straight for a lawsuit, and they're actually suing two different people. This is the developer of these cheap fake games, and this is Google themselves, due to them allowing these cheap fake games to stay on the Google Play Store, allegedly. So according to this 40-page legal complaint that I am linking in the description, there is a publisher on Google Play called Daigo Games 2020 Incorporated. And if you go to their page on Google Play, they have released exactly 2 games. This is Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 and Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, and that is just the exact name. Again, you see my disgust in this whole thing. It's not even attempting to be like its own thing. They're just completely ripping off of the name itself. Now, keep in mind, Poppy Playtime does have a Chapter 3 that was released last year, 2024, and it actually looks like Chapter 4 is coming out in just about a week or two. But for the Daigo Game ripoff version, their Chapter 3 came out a year prior to the official Chapter 3, and then they just released their Chapter 4 last month. And I want to point out, now I cannot see the actual price of this game on my Google Play account because it says I don't have any devices linked to my Google account, but I want to point out the knockoff Chapter 3 has over 1 million downloads. Yeah, and the knockoff Chapter 4, which has only been out for about a month, has over 100,000 downloads. So in this lawsuit, Mob points out that they sent a takedown to Google Play on October 31st of last year, and since then, apparently Google Play did take it down, but then on December 13th, the game was relisted back onto the Google Play Store. And like I said, I can confirm that, yeah, they still remain there to this day. Now, in the articles I'm reading, it is pointed out that in situations like this, the digital store owner or the platform of these games, and in this case Google Play, is protected from any legal action with these cheap fake games by a little something called DMCA Safe Harbor, which basically means that as long as they take the game down per the takedown request, then everything is cool, the store is not not in trouble and everything's fine. But in this case, allegedly, Mob Entertainment has sent a takedown request, and despite it getting initially taken down, it is now back up, hence the problem. Now, just in my complete opinion, I can't emphasize that enough. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not wearing a tie right now. In my opinion, I think they absolutely have a great lawsuit here. I think that as long as what they are saying can be proven, I think that it's pretty much a slam dunk. At least on Daigo Game, the knockoff developer. I guess it's possible Google could argue something here. Maybe they were unaware of certain things, so maybe they could kind of slip past something major here, or maybe they will settle. But in the case of the knockoff developer, I mean, I think it's very much cut and dry. I mean, the details are just so shady, so awful. Like, at one point it talks about how players would spend a certain amount of money when downloading this game, and then they would be led to a URL. That's basically just a dead URL. It just leads you to nothingness. Now, I don't know if that's a part of this fake game or if it's the whole thing, but regardless, I don't think it's going to be tough at all to prove in a court of law that this knockoff developer, whoever they are, just had nothing but malicious intent. I certainly hope they have not spent their $20, $30, $40 million yet, because they might have to end up paying it back.